How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Crypto Clout. I'm your host, FaZe Crypto, and today I'm happy to be talking about NucleusVision. Ultimately, I think that retail is one of those spaces that's really in need for an overhaul, a huge adjustment. Currently, we're witnessing the expiration of the old paradigm when it came to retail, and over the next 10 years, we'll witness a complete and total change, and cryptocurrency has a really big part to play and a really huge opportunity. So when I see the things that NucleusVision is doing, I think that it makes sense in accordance with the developments that we're seeing and all the new variables made possible by these exciting technologies and more people getting smartphones every single day and the Internet of Things. Very exciting. And of course, it's important to see how NucleusVision is putting the power of data into the hands of consumers, which of course we can see. You turn on any news station and this conversation is being had. The public consciousness is adjusting to this new paradigm, this new world, and Facebook and all these various different companies have to answer for what they've been doing with data up till this point. So I think that data responsibility is a really big priority when it comes to NucleusVision and cryptocurrencies in the future. And I think that we'll be seeing some really interesting developments and opportunities as things move forward within the next year and a half time frame. This will be a huge subject of conversation across the board on multiple different levels of society, including politics and news. But of course, in the world of cryptocurrencies, it's very important to be paying attention to this as it's been unfolding in real time. Consumer customization is something that's really going to be revolutionized by NucleusVision when you pay attention to the various different layers of technology that NucleusVision is implementing in respect to how they're approaching the retail space. You really have to take into consideration the huge role that consumers are going to be playing in the various different applications of cryptocurrencies and how mass adoption is going to be implemented. Really, when I look at technologies like Litecoin, for example, at the current time, I mean, we are undergoing a paradigm shift involving cryptocurrency, but ultimately, if I'm going to be completely honest, Litecoin in a lot of similar technologies are being outperformed by the United States dollar or the euro. A lot of these various different real dominant. Obviously, people aren't going to buy a Starbucks coffee with a Litecoin anytime soon. But what really excites me about NucleusVision is they're ultimately leveraging the possibilities that are made available by cryptocurrency, because it's not all limited to various, just replacing the dollar. There's a lot of other possibilities that are made in store for cryptocurrencies, and NucleusVision is a great example of that when it comes to these various different membership programs. And the future of retail is ultimately one of those spaces that I believe is in need of an overhaul, and the real shift in the cryptocurrency paradigm is going to be centered around this and a multitude of other variables, including the Internet of Things and a lot of other things that have been compiling together, really creating a perfect storm for NucleusVision. So it's awesome to see how NucleusVision has established such a great community for itself across various different social media platforms, and I think this is one of the real positive sides for NucleusVision. It's already got a lot of that brand recognition phase out of, because in cryptocurrency, having a good brand, having a good logo, these things do play a fundamental role. If they don't have something that can have an impact on the minds of everybody from all different perspectives, because NucleusVision, I think, is one of those technologies that's developing a good community around it, and this is pivotal moving forward, and especially establishing a good community of people with strong hands who've done their research, who aren't going to flop on the occasions where cryptocurrency is a very volatile space by nature. And this isn't news to anybody, but sometimes people tend to panic when they it's good to see that the way that things have been functioning, moving right along with the market cap where it is right now at 348 billion. But of course, we do have a lot of various different developments in store, especially in the greater perspective of how cryptocurrency in this space is developing. We are really lucky to be this early in the game when it comes to cryptocurrencies, and seeing these technologies as they've been developing in front of us step by step. And ultimately, I'm very excited to be seeing the future of these things, because every single day there's more people who are getting online, more smartphones are getting into circulation every single day, and this means data. This means that the world of tomorrow is going to be very colored by ultimately the aspects of data that we're starting to see rise up in the public consciousness, and we're starting to see, as this new layer of technology is we're starting to see this layer of technology being implemented. And I think that it's important that NucleusVision is giving consumers that control over their data, because in the back to that sort of whole theme of seeing the retail outlets and so forth having a complete overhaul. I mean, right now we're seeing all these old brick and mortar stores going out of business because they're simply not leveraging the potential that's in store and made available by the data that's in the hands of these consumers and so forth. And this is something that's subject to change as things continue to move forward. I think that NucleusVision can play a huge role in that. We've seen before news articles talking about how NucleusVision is positioning itself strategically in a way that could ultimately lead to it having a reputation as a global phenomenon. And I think that all across the board, this sort of technology really does have its place in the world of tomorrow. So just looking at the news regarding NucleusVision, it is interesting to see, I mean, all these developments being established with retail giants moving right along as planned, because of course these things do take a little bit of time to happen, but of course they do happen in real time. And of course, this number right here and the global market cap are all numbers that come from a multitude of variables coming together, and it's on an international scale, so it's going to take the global communities and the public consciousness sort of have to develop and evolve alongside these things. And it really is interesting to see them happening in real time. But of course, I'm going to be including a link to this video down in the description that talks about the various different partnerships involving NucleusVision, and really great content here. Goes into detail regarding a lot of similar things that we've been talking about here, by giving the consumers that level of rewards that can ultimately are going to have a really big impact on the development of these technologies as we continue to see things moving forward. But all that being said, you guys make sure that you follow NucleusVision on their Twitter. Twitter really is a great resource for staying up to date regarding cryptocurrencies, and I think that it's important to stay up to date and have your information from the source. And what better place than NucleusVision's official Twitter? And of course, this YouTube channel is on Twitter as well. So if you guys are interested, you can connect with us. That's at CryptoTuber. And of course, on our new Twitter as well, if you're interested in connecting, we'll be including a link to this in the description as well, Crypto Clout. But all that being said, you guys, I hope that you understand, the standard disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is not financial advice. This is for entertainment, educational purposes only. And the whole purpose of me making this video is just to share my opinion regarding NucleusVision. And of course, I'd be happy to hear what you guys have to say involving this technology. So feel free to include your comments down below so that we can get this discussion really moving in a positive direction. I think that it's important to build these communities on different social media platforms, which is why we include the link to the Twitter. So if anybody wants to share with us any good information regarding NucleusVision, always interesting to hear these things. But yeah, ultimately I think that the Internet of Things and this developing space, we really are undergoing a paradigm shift as things continue to move forward. So NucleusVision is essentially at the center of all of this, and I think that it's going to be interesting to see how these developments take place as we witness the evolution of things. And of course it's important to pay attention to Bitcoin. It is number one, so it's you really can't ignore it as of currently. But all that being said, I think that as we see things moving along, we will be seeing a lot more interest. So I'd recommend you guys definitely do your research regarding NucleusVision, and I think the technology really speaks for itself. My understanding of it is fundamentally data driven, and I find that it's important to do research and look into the team that's working on these things. And I think that NucleusVision definitely does have a strong team that's working with it. So ultimately I think we can expect to see some really good things. But remember, this is all just my opinion. Yeah, all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.